So delighted to be joined by Leyton Orient Chairman Nigel Travis this afternoon. Nigel, I believe we just want to take the opportunity today to discuss some things about finances, and this comes on the back of the publication of those 2019-20 accounts. So I guess first question on that was that financial year in line with yours and the board's expectations?
Well, we went into the year, and good afternoon, Luke, I should say. We're expecting to lose about $1 million. Obviously, COVID came along. We ended up with an additional loss of 1.3 million, very much COVID related. Probably would have been even more if our fans hadn't stepped up and our sponsors continued the great work they've been doing. So thank you to both groups there. But I think the key point is that every club, I think, was impacted by COVID significantly. Many clubs took loans from the league. We did not. We don't need to. And I know some fans are concerned about the net liabilities line of 7.8 million. Well, that net liability isn't to a bank, isn't to anyone else. That is to our vehicle that we bought the club with, called Eagle Holdings, Eagle Investments, which is basically run by Kent and I. So just relax, everyone. Don't get too excited. This is why Eagle is there.
Yeah, well, that was the 2019-20 accounts. We're still going to be going through the 2021 accounts, and I guess with the havoc that COVID-19's caused on football, I mean, this year is probably going to be a bit bigger, right?
Yeah, again, a lot of clubs are taking loans. We haven't. We went into the year again expecting a loss of about $1 million. COVID, which obviously I think the whole world thought will not last as long as it has, and have the various lockdowns and the lack of crowds. In fact, we've had 2 minute crowds at our stadium this year. We're expecting a loss of 2.2. I want to remind everyone, at one stage we thought that was 3 million. We did get some money, not a loan, a grant from the league like every other club. We've done great things with things like streaming. Our sponsors have stepped up to the plate. Our fans have stepped up to the plate. But basically, the board has supported the club significantly. I think that shows our optimism for the future, and we continue to put money in. And for those who think that I personally don't, I have shared in that significantly.
Yeah, well, obviously, talks of investors, and there have been plenty of talks about investors in the past and new investors potentially coming in. Is that something that's still on the cards?
Yeah, oh yeah. I've spent nearly all my waking hours the last few weeks doing that, and I think we're getting close to the end of the process. We got one significant investor coming in. We got many. I had one call this morning. I've got 2 more today with other investors. It's a process. It's a strange process where you do a presentation, then they come back with questions. But basically, the way we see it, for anyone who's got any doubts, the lead participants will still be Kent and I. The board is putting more money in this new round of offering. We're bringing in some new investors with some great minds, some great enthusiasm for the future of Leyton Orient. And I think it's worth talking about that. I mean, why are people interested in Leyton Orient? And there seems to be a pattern at the moment, particularly from American investors. They look at buying a Premier League club, too expensive. Then the Championship is kind of the lottery game. The average loss last year in the Championship was, wait for it, 35 million. So this makes our losses look minute. They then come down to Leagues 1 and 2, look at the clubs available, and very quickly decide that they want a club in London. We're in a great position. A lot of people value us more highly than we value ourselves. And I've seen predictions that are far higher in terms of the value of the club than we're currently placing on the club. So in terms of valuation of Leyton Orient, I feel good. I'm very optimistic. I think the investors are going to come in and add value. And one thing I think all fans should know, we're focused on not going back and seeking any more investment for 5 years. That may come back and haunt me, but that's the goal. We've done all our planning on that basis. We included, as everyone will have seen, the replacement of the East Stand roof, which is over $500,000 investment. We're looking at the pitch. We've got some exciting programs there. We're looking at supporting the playing side as well. We're looking at boosting the academy. There's a lot in that plan. And I really think once we get through this, I'll have an easier time and be more relaxed. But we're nearly at the end of the process, and I'm very optimistic that that's going to make us truly sustainable.
Talk about sustainability, and obviously there has been a couple of setbacks here and there. One of them being the fact that the salary cap was overturned. In your opinion, does that make sustainability a lot harder to achieve?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think the league, we had a meeting last week, are very focused on replacing it. The salary cap is one control mechanism. They're talking about several other forms of control. I think what happened is very complicated. There was perhaps a lack of consultation with the PFA, but I think we will get through that. But 2 or 3 things fans should know. There was a large number of loans given not only last season, which I mentioned before, but this season. We were not one of those clubs. So we don't owe anything to the league. I see that as a competitive advantage because other teams are going to have to repay those loans to the league. The only debt Leyton Orient Football Club has is to Eagle, and that is us. That's Kent and I primarily. So I want everyone to relax about that. But yes, we do need a control mechanism, and we need to continue focusing on football sustainability. And I think as a result of COVID this year, there's going to be a record number of footballers, unfortunately, unemployed. That means that clubs like ours are going to have a big choice of people to bring in. We're very focused on that. We're thinking about next season. We haven't totally given up on this season. I want everyone to get behind the team. Joby's been in the job 2 weeks. Let's get right behind him. As he said in his interview on Saturday, he's got a whole week to work with the team this week before we go off to, on paper, 2 difficult games at Newport, that we're playing it at Cardiff and Carlisle. So I'm optimistic that results will improve as well.
Yeah, well, I think that'll probably be all we'll cover today, Nigel. I know that we've got the AGM coming up soon, and details of that will be shared on the club channels. But I don't know if there's any other messages you wanted to end with this afternoon.
Yeah, I think financials slightly worse than we expected, but considering it's COVID, it could have been a lot worse. And I want to thank our sponsors, our fans, and the board for their continued support. Let's get right behind Joby and everyone. I know as a fan, remember I support other teams, so I know what it's like to support a team where you're not directly controlling it. So sometimes we all get agitated. Let's try and look on the bright side. Perhaps I'll even sing it if results improve. So that's that's something I'd like to send out to everyone. But I'm optimistic about the future of Leyton Orient Football Club. You should be too, because we only owe money to ourselves. And most of all, we've got more investment coming in.